What does a balanced plate look like for a child? There's a lot of debate online about jaggery versus sugar. So can you break that down? Is there any difference between sugar and jaggery? What's the best way, according to you, to introduce solids to a 6-month-old?
If you start with baby-led weaning, your child eats happily, is less of a picky eater, has a positive relationship with food. I feel like all of that was true for Neil.
What about these protein powders and gummies that are coming in the market? There's a lot of controversial opinions about these. So what is your take on protein powders for kids?
The society is obsessed with skinny moms, that they want the moms to lose the fat very quickly the moment you deliver. But the bacha should look very chubby. Chubby is not equal to healthy.
What's happening in a child's body when they're rejecting meals?
One strategy which I really used to follow and it has worked out very well is
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Conscious Indian Mama Pod. I'm your host Gunjan and today we have with us Sonali. Hi Sonali.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure being with you and what a fantastic job you're doing.
Thank you, means a lot. So Sonali is a mom to a 6-year-old and a certified child nutritionist, and today we're talking all about child nutrition starting from birth till toddlerhood. So I want to start from before you were a mom and know a little bit about that journey. How was your life before motherhood happened?
I have moved a lot of cities in the past 12 years and that's why I chose a job which was, portable with me, which is online. I could do it from any part of the country. Education wise, I'm a master's in HR, but then I started my own jewelry line, which I would exhibit all across the country and I was doing pretty well. I was very happy with how things were shaping up, how I was doing in life. And overall, I was having a great time, doing my business.
So how did this switch happen then to content creation?
Okay, so going back to again, like almost 6 years back, COVID had just come in and Neil was born. Two extreme things that happened and all at the same time, okay? And I could not focus on my career because obviously I had a newborn, plus we lived in a nuclear family. Because of COVID, a lot of my karigars went back to their villages and I didn't have places to exhibit my jewelry. So that shut down and, a newborn was also to be taken care just by me and my husband because again, COVID. That's how, Sonali World happened.
Wow. So how has that journey been? It's been 6 years of content creation, right? How is that going for you?
So yeah, 6 years has been really long. I didn't think I would come this far. So it started with Neil being born and I wanted a let out. I have always been a person who was working, I started working when I was 21 and all of a sudden I was not working now. I had a newborn. Obviously I was busy with the newborn, but I also wanted some creative let out. So this Instagram platform gave me, it gave me a place where I could share what I was doing. So anyways, I was sharing pictures when I was pregnant also. But post Neil, I just started structuring it more and I started sharing exactly what I did, from eating to sleeping to, playing with him. Whatever I was doing, I was just sharing in form of pictures. Back then it was just pictures. So yeah, it was like a let out. And then slowly I found an audience who would connect with me, who were like me during COVID time and who were looking at other moms, कि ये क्या कर रही है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, things like that. And that's how they appreciated. I kept sharing. I just kept very authentic stuff, no fancy language. Fancy होने का सवाल ही नहीं हो रहा था because we were all at home. So जो हो रहा था वही I was sharing.
Nice.
And that's how it's been.
Wow. And how did this certification in child nutrition happen? Because again, HR and child nutrition is something completely opposite, right?
Okay. So I am somebody who is very, very particular about what I eat as a person. And I used to always make very healthy dinner options for my husband as well. Now cut to my child being born. And this is the day COVID began is the same time Neil has started solids. I was very, very passionate about what I wanted to feel Neil because because it's a byproduct. I was
yeah.
eating healthy. Obviously, my child is also going to eat healthy. So I was doing a lot of research anyways. I was very, very passionate. Now, a surprising element was my mother-in-law. She's a PhD in food and nutrition.
Oh.
She was the one who said that, Sonali, तुम इतना passion से ये सब पढ़ रही हो, कर रही हो, नील के लिए इतना अच्छा बना रही हो, why don't you take like a certification course? And I thank her till date and for life. She was the one who also filled up my admission form.
Oh.
It's amazing. She did it and she like, अब तुम पढ़ो और अब तुम इसको certification कर लो, so that what you're saying is authentic, what you're saying makes more sense. And when you share it with your audience, also by then I had a few thousand followers, so if you share it with your audience, even they will relate to it and they will find it authentic.
True.
And obviously, if you're feeding it to your children, you need to be very careful that you don't write it just for the sake of writing, right?
Yeah.
So that's how the certification happened.
Nice. That's a really interesting story. Usually, in households, when a baby comes, parents are like, now you focus on this, don't do anything else. And
No, I
it's
have
quite
to
the
thank her
opposite.
for life.
Awesome, beautiful. So now let's dive in and start from right when the baby is born. What does ideal nutrition look like from birth to, let's say, 6 months?
Initially, there's not much. I don't know why people fret over it so much. It's nothing. It's just whatever the mother or the parents choose. Either it can be breastfeeding or formula feeding also in many cases. And that's the only requirement which is needed. No water, no juice, no anything for that matter.
Yeah.
So this in itself is more than enough for a baby to grow healthy.
And what are some common misconceptions that you see around this age in our country?
So I think a lot of people think that breastfeeding is the best way to go. Obviously, it is. But even for some reason, if you choose formula feeding, that's not bad. You should not take the guilt of feeding your child formula also. It's made in a way that it is suitable for your babies.
Right.
So not taking that guilt that, I could not feed my baby breast milk due to any reason. There are multiple reasons for it. Also, the other fact is if the baby looks like a little chubby golu molu, people assume that the mother is lactating well.
Yeah.
That's also a feeling that a lot of people have. If the baby is having milk very often, the elders in the house or friends also for that matter keep sometime questioning the mother's flow. Like, they think that the mother is not producing enough. That's why the baby feels hungry very often. The truth is the child has so many growth spurts during that time that sometimes the child cluster feeds or they want to feed very often, and which is perfectly fine. So these are few things that people judge and also have a misconception about.
True. I'll tell you one that I've heard, especially for babies who are born during the summers or like the first 6 months have summers in between, that it's very hot, you should give them water.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So what exactly happens if you give a newborn under 6 months of age water?
So, like I said, breast milk is water. So, they don't need anything else besides the mother's milk or formula. And if you kind of give water at this time, water has no nutrition.
Yeah.
The child needs nutrition at this point for overall growth. So, breast milk or a formula milk is way important because when they are having that, they are also not just filling their tummies but getting nutrition. Versus water, they are just filling their tummies with zero nutrition. So completely avoid water at any cost, just breast milk or formula milk.
So it basically deprives them of the nutrition they could have gotten at that point. Now comes the time which is very sometimes stressful for parents, which is starting solids, right? So again, let's start from the basic and talk about what is the ideal time for a child to start solids.
So the ideal time is around 6 months. Before that, like we said, that we just have to feed formula or breast milk. 6 months is a good time. that's the time when children can actually hold up their neck properly.
Yeah.
They can sit up with a little bit of support is also fine. When a food is put into their mouth, they kind of not push it away.
Yeah.
They open their mouth wide to kind of eat it. When you are eating, they are excited to eat as well. Like they are mimicking sometimes the chewing movements also. This is the time when children are ready to eat, and roughly about 6 months of age. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to actually introducing solids, parents usually have a lot of pressure on how to do it, right? There are so many new approaches now. Baby-led weaning is there, then traditional weaning, a mix of both. So, can we talk a little bit about that? Like, what's the best way, according to you, to introduce solids to a 6-month-old?
So I wouldn't be telling you what is the best way, because that's very, very family specific. I just want to say this. I was somebody who did baby-led weaning back then, like, almost 5.5 years back.
Yeah.
It was very new as a concept. There were a lot of notions about it that इससे बच्चा कुछ नहीं खा रहा है, waste कर रहा है, कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. Luckily or unluckily, it worked out for me because it was COVID time. It was just me, my husband, and my child. So, like I said, I was reading about nutrition. I was reading about baby-led weaning also. I think not a lot of Indian parents were following back then. I was following a few Western bloggers and creators who were doing this and had a lot of information on it. I took up a few courses also how to, start my child with, if I wanted to go that route of baby-led weaning. So now hindsight cut to, like, he's 6 now. I don't regret it any bit. Like, all that was coming in the research, which was if you start with baby-led weaning, your child eats happily, is less of a picky eater, has a positive relationship with food. I feel like all of that was true for Neil. It's been 6 years, and touch wood, he's been a breeze to kind of feed. Like, I have never had such struggles, and that's the reason I have been sharing like 300, 400 plus recipes on my page. So again, but I have worked with parents who have done traditional weaning, which is starting with purees, and I see nothing wrong in that as well. Only challenge with that is you should transition your child as soon as possible. So for example, if you started with a blended food, 2 months later start with hand mash, 3 months later make it grated, then make it semi-solid, then make it finger food, and then move to normal pot meals of your house. So if you ask me that what is the best way, I wouldn't be able to say that because I've not tried both. I've just gone with baby-led weaning. Whatever you choose, I think nutrition is important. What you feed to your child is important. Few things which I wouldn't recommend at all is distract feeding or force feeding. These are the two things which I would say, please do not do it at any cost. Just stick to making this whole experience the foundation of your child's eating journey. People sometimes forget that 6 to 12 months is the time. It's a window for you to experiment with your child. Rather than sowing them food at this time, you should take that time to kind of bond with your children over food. Explain, talk to them, make the whole experience very, very pleasant, so that when they are 12 months, when they are a year, they actually start enjoying food. So you get the trial period of 6 months wherein you experiment. ठीक है, नहीं खाया तो भी कोई problem नहीं, because we have formula or breast milk, right? Because still the main source of nutrition comes from the milk. So might as well take the time to kind of bond over food, expose as many food as possible, textures as possible, taste, bitter, sour, sweet, everything. Make their palate so well that when the child is 1 year of age, they are like happily trying out different food and eating, and that time you are at ease.
True. In your experience of working with parents, do you see any difference, let's say 4 or 5 years later, for a baby who started with purees versus a baby who started with baby-led weaning?
So I don't ask this question very often to people, but and I will be biased with baby-led weaning because that's what I chose to
Sure,
do.
yeah.
And I see great benefits with my son. And I wouldn't say this loosely because I know food is such a struggle for so many parents out there. And I don't want to put them onto any guilt. Like I said, choose whatever you want to. If this makes your life easier, feeding them purees, and you are a little bit of a control freak as to, nahi mere bacche ko itna khana hi hai, go ahead, but don't please force feed or, like I said, distract feed, because only that's the only problem with feeding your children. Rest, I think both the approaches are fine. Do what the mother feels is comfortable, compatible to their lifestyles, because I lived in a nuclear family. For me it was easier. I was the boss. I was a cleaner also, and I was the boss also. But when you're living with in-laws or say parents, sometimes it does get difficult. So choose sanity also, because ultimately this is not something जो आप एक दिन करोगे और कल कुछ और करना है. It's you going to continue for a long time, but transition them quickly. So again, I'm going to give you a very diplomatic answer that because I chose baby-led weaning, I will have biasness towards it, and it's a positive baby-led weaning because I'm telling you, it worked out very, very good for me. But yeah, both the methods are good enough.
So just to summarize, I think the main thing is to transition them as soon as you are comfortable, and secondly to not distract and force feed in either of the ways, right? So that positive relationship with food gets developed during that time.
These are the only 3 things which I would particularly insist on every parent to follow.
Now the next question that parents have is khilaye kya? Right? So maybe can you give us like 5 or 6 first food options for kids?
Okay. So earlier when we would read books, it would there was a guideline which said that एक ही food को आपको 3 दिन देना है to rule out any allergen or any problems with that particular food group. Now it's nullified, and now you can give as much variety as you can. So I would say go with your you can choose, if like, again, it's very regional concept as well. So I am a Bengali. For us, rice is our staple. So I would go with a rice and a pumpkin or rice and a sweet potato. I particularly didn't choose any fruit for the first few days. I went with all vegetables out there. So he tried broccoli, beans, carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkin. All of these foods cut into finger size, and he was offered. Then slowly we started introducing dal, rice. So basically what you eat as adults, say your my plate looks like a rice, dal and a sabzi. It's the same for the child as well. Only thing is the quantity gets reduced, and also no salt is to be added, no store-bought masala needs to be added. And more or less it's the same, like you don't have to follow sare those mashed matlab har roz khichdi khilani hai. That's not the case. So initial first 5 food, I would say go with sweet potato. If you have access to avocados, that's great in fats. Add that pumpkin, carrots, rice, dalia, moong dal. All of these Indian diets are completely fine. They're healthy. Ragi is also a great food. So the more or less, don't take stress of what to feed your children. Just whatever is your normal staple diet at home, just make that compatible to your children and offer them.
So you mentioned in this that no salt or any like store-bought masalas needs to be added, and I think that is another very big contention point that we have in our families. I remember when I was starting solids for Kian, and I told my parents that we'll be doing baby-led weaning and we'll not be adding any salt. खाएगा कैसे बच्चा? Taste ही नहीं आएगा खाने में. So can we talk a little bit about salt here?
I have a question for whoever wants to, who has a similar खाएगा कैसे बच्चा अगर स्वाद ही नहीं आ रहा है. I have a very simple logic to it. बच्चे को तो पता ही नहीं है ना कि क्या स्वाद है. So you are developing that palate, right? You are making the whole food for them. So children don't understand in the beginning कि इसमें शुगर है तो ये खाएंगे. Obviously, they have a liking towards sweet because breast milk also is slightly on the sweeter side. So they have a liking towards sweetness. But without salt is something that children, I mean, we think like that, kaise khayenge, but they can totally eat it without any problem. So you can add a lot of masalas rather.
Yeah.
Store-bought masalas have, like, you know, preservatives,
Yeah,
chemicals, and
yeah.
that's why I said no. But you can definitely add zeera to their food, rai, kachok, you know, hing. All of this is totally fine. Most of the masalas all the children
Yeah,
can
yeah,
have,
yeah.
except barring a few. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this was the same logic I gave to my parents, that usse kya pata what
Yeah,
salt tastes like,
correct.
right? And he was flourishing without salt for the first 6 months. There was no
Everybody
problem.
does,
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
it's our notion that इसमें स्वाद नहीं है.
हाँ, true. Because we taste it. Like, for giving it to our child, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, we can't
ये
eat
तो
this.
बहुत ही bland है.
Yeah, true. Now, talking about things that they are not supposed to eat. So, are there a few
Okay.
foods that we should not be introducing in the first maybe 1 or 2 months to our children?
Okay, so I'm sure many parents know, but we'll still speak about it. Salt, sugar, honey are things that are totally no-no till the child turns 1 year. Also, juices is something which I would never recommend till the child turns 2 also. I would say that जितना avoid कर सकते हो आप करो. Then we can avoid all the store-bought masalas. Say, for example, the sambar masala which comes in
Yeah.
a packet, that can be avoided. All these packet foods, I think, I mean, the one which comes with preservatives and stuff, that can be avoided totally in the beginning. I don't know if I'm missing out on any.
So basically, ghar ka to everything
Yeah.
they can eat. There are no restrictions as such.
Correct.
But mainly is what we just, the things that you listed, I think,
Yes.
yeah, we covered
Yeah.
mostly everything.
I think.
Yeah, okay. What about allergens? Like, there's also a lot of confusion around that, right? Like dairy, wheat,
Yeah.
maybe egg or fish for non-vegetarians, nuts, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
when is the right time to introduce these?
So a lot of parents want to delay introducing
Yeah.
these, even fish for that matter. They think that abhi denge to allergy hoga and it'll react to my baby or something like that. But the new research says that the quicker you introduce them, the chances are higher that they don't have any allergen. So whenever you're starting food, whenever you're offering, say, nuts, just offer one nut in particular. Like if you're giving almond, just don't mix up all the nuts together and give. Give it one day, and usually try to give it in the afternoon so that you still have the time to kind of check their body.
Yeah.
Why I avoid saying at night, it's not anything. It's basically science that if you introduce it in the afternoon, you will still change the diaper, you will still
Yeah.
change their clothes, you
Yeah.
will talk to them, you will sleep with them, you'll be able to see if there are any kind of signs of allergy versus introducing at night. So in the afternoon probably you can introduce like an egg and check for it. One day is good enough to come to know. You will come to know if there's a problem.
Yeah.
The child is not able to accept it well or not. And also, if there is a slight rash or something, you can always visit your pediatrician and check and rule that out.
So, what are some signs of allergies that if a child eats something, what should parents look out for when checking for allergies?
So basically, rashes around their mouth, rashes around their neck, sometimes rashes around their hands and legs as well. Redness in any part of their body. Sometimes there are small dot-like structures on their tongue, or if the child is just being very itchy, they're itching their neck, or just itching a lot after eating that particular food, probably it's a sign that they might be allergic to it.
Now, as the child grows up and probably reaches 9-10 months of age and they've tried a couple of foods, parents now start to worry about the balance of their plate.
Okay.
Right. So, can you break down that for us? What does a balanced plate look like for a child?
So there are 5 main pillars, which is basically the good fat, the protein content, the carbohydrate, vitamins and minerals, and one is also fiber, so that their gut is in place. Now, these 5 parameters, like I always talk about regional meals a lot because I feel India is very diverse and a lot of us have a different eating habits. Like a Punjabi has a paratha and say a sabzi and a dal and some curd. If you see all those meals, pick up any regional meal, be it a South Indian, whereas a basic meal would look like a idli sambar with a chutney. All of these, if you deep down it, they're actually pretty balanced.
Okay.
So let's break down one for now. Let's take like an idli sambar and chutney. So idli is basically made out of urad dal and rice. So it's your carb and protein. Then the sambar is made out of dal, which is again a protein source. We add pumpkin, we add beans, we add carrots, we add drumstick. These are all sources of vitamins, minerals. It's cooked in coconut oil maybe. So that's healthy fats and offered with a coconut chutney, again good source of fats. And flavors are also included. And so if you see, the entire meal is a traditional meal, but it is very much balanced. So all our Indian meals are typically well balanced. We also need to work on the same line. So whenever you're offering your child, just remember these 5 points. इसमें protein है, इसमें carbs है, इसमें vitamin mineral है, and healthy fats है कि नहीं? Because children need a little extra fats for their brain and heart development. If this is well comprised, I think you can make any meal. Now I'll give you a modern example. हम सारे लोग हर रोज तो traditional meals नहीं खा रहे. ठीक है. Now let's pick up something like a रोटी सब्जी. So रोटी में आपका carbs आ गया, सब्जी में आपका vitamins आ गया, fiber आ गया. You're cooking it in, you can top the roti with ghee, which is your healthy fats. You can also add nut powder, some pureed vegetable in your roti to make it more action packed. And you can offer it with a little bit of dahi for protein or dal. So, you know, this is a very simple structure. If you keep these 3 points in mind, you can easily make any simple meal into a well balanced meal. It's not that difficult if you think of it.
Okay. So I think main problem क्या होता है ना, when let's say toddlerhood hits and you're offering all of these things to your child and they only pick up the roti and finish that up and leave everything else.
Correct.
Or in the idli sambar example, only
Sif idli
eat the idli and they're like, no, I don't want to eat chutney, or don't even like separately भी नहीं खाना है, dip करके भी नहीं खाना है. So that's where the main nutrition problem comes in, and that's where the worry kicks in.
Correct.
That how do you make sure your child is getting
enough nutrition,
even when they're just eating a roti or an idli? So can you talk a little bit about that?
So that's when you use the nutrient dense recipes. So basically these are recipes wherein you're feeding the same thing. Like आप रोटी ही खिला रहे हो पर उसको आप और nutrition भर रहे हो. Now how can you do it? First you're making normal रोटी हम सिर्फ पानी डालते हैं और कुछ लोग salt डालते हैं and you put the flour. That's it. Now when you make for a selective eater, what you can do is add, like I said, a puree of a vegetable. You can choose beetroot, you can use spinach. You can also use seed powder. You can take up a few seeds, grind them well. Once you've checked for all allergens and the child is safe for it, add that. Add 1 chammach of it. You can also add nut powder to your food. Top it up with ghee. अब एक basic रोटी मैंने आपको 5 ways दिखा दी. इसको कैसे आप amp up कर सकते हो. So these are tiny tweaks which you can make for your child. कि अगर वो एक ही रोटी खा रहा है पर फिर भी उसको nutrition जा रहा है worth of 2 things. You know. Similarly, some kids love dahi, for example. उसके अंदर चिया सीड्स ऐड कर लो, उसके अंदर नट पाउडर डाल दो. सो यू हैव दीज 2-3 वेपन्स विथ यू व्हिच इज लाइक नट पाउडर, घी, pureed vegetable. These are few things which you can make it more action packed. And even if your child is eating less, it's making up for the nutrition.
But then I think वो veggies का main problem हो जाता है यहाँ पे, right? When the child doesn't eat veggies, अब आपने nut powder add कर दिया, healthy fats add कर दिया, but what about fiber? What about the vitamins?
So then you take care of it in the snack time. Now you have to be smart in snacks. So इसमें भी हमें smart बनना है, and the snacking option also needs to be smarter. So I'll tell you what I did with Neil. So Neil was a good meal eater. So his lunch, so typically a toddler would eat like, when they are around 18 months of age, they would eat like 3 proper meals and 2 snacks. Okay. Now if your child is eating the meals properly, like वो roti sabji dahi chawal kha raha hai, for example, then your snacks can be very light, something like apple काट के दे दो, carrot काट के दे दो, something like that, very basic. But if your child is not eating roti sabji like you said, and which is a problem which is very common, then you work on the snack part. तो उसमें हम we can make like tikkis wherein you stuff in vegetables, make it fun for the child to take it, make it crunchier. Children do like crunchier snacks. You can offer things like carrot sticks with hummus. Now hummus also has protein, and you add olive oil on top, so you just have to make little tweaks in the snacking options. Maybe sweet potato fries with a cashew dip. So you'll have to tweak your snackings accordingly if your child is not into like proper meal. And also I would like to mention this as a added thing here. If your child is picky for a certain time, it's probably just a phase. It's not a problem for life. So just hold yourself that during those days, try to be a little smart in the cooking pattern, and I think you'll be fine.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Why do actually kids reach that stage where they're rejecting meals or rejecting particular foods, right? So what's happening in a child's body when they're rejecting meals?
Okay, I tell this to a few of my friends also. Now a child who's reaching toddlerhood, वो ना बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखने की कोशिश कर रहा है. Like child is learning to walk, run, sometimes read, I mean do coloring and stuff, like holding things, playing with their toys. There are multiple things that the child is trying to learn. Now food is something which was introduced at 6 months. उसको ऐसा लग रहा है ये तो मुझे आता है, ये तो मैंने करा हुआ है. Let me work more on these aspects which I have not learned yet. So the child is putting their full concentration, full effort on learning that new skill, because they are learning multiple skills at the same time. We all know, right? So that time food takes a back seat because they think, okay, this is just another meal. Again, I have to eat my lunch. Again, I have to eat my dinner. So let me do something else, which is more, they find it more interesting. They find it more curious, like it's filled with curiosity for them. So they're putting their effort there. Also, sometimes the illness also kicks in. Growth spurts kick in, and that's the time that their appetite by default goes down. हम उसमें ज़्यादा कुछ कर नहीं सकते. It's a natural process of a child's growth. तब obviously hunger कम हो जाती है, appetite चली जाती है, and that's the time we also struggle a lot as parents.
Makes sense. I think especially these growth spurts and all, right? I've been noticing पिछले कुछ दिनों से अभी recently Kian has been very disinterested in food. मतलब usually he has these phases जब वो सिर्फ रोटी खाएगा, but वो बैठ के he's interested कि हाँ मैं खाऊंगा कुछ. He's just disinterested. And then I noticed that suddenly I'm seeing that his memory is increasing a lot. Like he's remembering books.
Correct.
Like he's able to recite books to me, memorize the whole books. And then I was like, oh, so this was the reason that, the meals are impacted. Even the sleep gets impacted sometimes. Correct. So,
so there are multiple milestones to achieve, so they're busy. So food can take a rest. So like ये तो कर ही रहे हम 6 महीने से.
True. Now, when it comes to meal rejections and when children are not eating, again, a lot of times some strategies or some suggestions come into place that chalo thoda sa sugar dal do, ya thoda sa, make it sweeter, because children are more inclined towards that, or will only give them the food that they like. Sometimes that also happens. So, can we talk about that a little, where we're decoding what is the deal with sugar, when to introduce sugar, what kinds of sugar to introduce, and what's the deal
I
with
think
sugar?
there are two different questions here. Let me answer the first one. Is it's a trap. एक बार आप फिसल गए तो you're gone. Because once the child knows that acha, this is a second alternative I can get if I say no. Now this I'm talking when the child is like say 1 year, 1.5 year. उसको पता चल गया अगर कि अच्छा मम्मा तो इसमें sugar डाल देगी, ये मीठा बना देगी, then they will not. I'm not saying not is a very strong word. They will make it harder for you. I mean, they will always keep on asking for that sweet element that please, only if this is added, they will eat it. Similarly, a problem with parents also, this I've seen a lot when I'm working with parents. अगर बच्चे को भिंडी रोटी अच्छी लग रही है तो वो भिंडी रोटी सारे दिन दे जा रहे हैं. Then there comes a point after 7 days the child is not even eating भिंडी रोटी. So, that's not how it works. Plus also they are missing out a lot of nutrition when you're eating only bhindi roti. Because what about the other food groups? They are not being touched at all.
Yeah.
So I agree and I understand your child's favorite is bhindi roti. But it can happen every 3-4 days. It doesn't need to be at a continuation. A variety needs to be given. One strategy which I really used to follow and it has worked out very well is whatever my child wouldn't eat, say he didn't like bangan at all, till date he doesn't like it that much, but I would always offer him like a pea size or maybe like pickle size on his plate. So I wanted him to not pressurize to finish that, but at the same time I wanted him to be okay with the fact कि उसकी plate पे वो रखा हुआ है और वो try ज़रूर करना है हमें, चाहे मम्मा force नहीं कर रही है to finish it. That has helped him try so many vegetables, to be honest. I always used to give him like a pickle size amount. And that strategy is something that has worked. Except for the bangan, he has eaten a lot more vegetables. Because it didn't pressurize him to kind of
finish
ये तो खाना ही है, ये तो खत्म करना है. And that sight of that बड़े pieces of those vegetables would trigger them. As a child, that I don't like it and it's still on my plate. But the moment you reduce the quantity, they feel like, okay, it's just lying there, it's there. So they might even end up trying it. So this is one strategy which has worked out really well for me.
But how do you actually ask them to try it without a little bit of force? I mean, it's a very thin line, right? So how do you do that? Because I've also faced this, like dal nahi khata hai Kian. Very rarely he'll eat dal. With some, I wouldn't say distraction, but technique. Oh, it's a dip, it's not dal. So he'll dip it as a chutney. So he'll try it. But
so it is like it's a thin line, like you said. And it's always a borderline. I ask myself, ये मैं force कर रही हूँ क्या? ये मैं force कर रही हूँ क्या? It is. But as long as you're not saying that 20 times in the mealtime, you're just saying 1 or 2 times, it's fine. I feel like it's totally fine because you have to kind of navigate them a little bit. So it's fine. Also, what works well is eating with your child. They seeing you eating it. Also, if they're old enough, slightly older enough, you can also help them prep the meal, discuss meal plans with them, sit with them, chat about food, let them touch the dals, you said dal, so I'm just mentioning, let him touch the dal, when it's not cooked, and let him, you can lay out the dals and say, okay, which one do you want to try today? Let him see the texture, color of the dals. That also helps in, bonding them well with food. And I mean, there is a thin line between borderline pressurizing them and nagging them that khalo. But a little bit is required that why don't you try this? Today mama made something different. Or like I said, make them a part of
the
preparation of the food and choosing the meal also.
Now let's talk about sugar, because that's a very touchy topic for us. We're all big sweet tooths here. So what are the different kinds of sugar we can offer to children, and what is the right time to introduce each?
Okay. So till the age of 2 years, no refined sugar is recommended in any form. Now, people often forget that even fruits have a certain amount of sugar, but these are all healthy sugar which you can definitely incorporate. For example, you're mashing a chiku with, say, oats. You're mashing up a banana, making pancakes with it. So those are all healthy sugars, and that can be given from 6 months onwards itself. Then there are forms like date powder, which is very healthy again. But obviously you have to give it in moderation, not like कि हर meal में डाले जा रहे हो आप आराम से. If you don't have date powder, you can always use hot water and soak the dates and make into halwa or make Indian desserts with it. Jaggery can be introduced a little bit here and there after 18 months of age to make your sweet treats for your children. You can also use coconut sugar, but again, I would say in moderation.
Okay.
Yeah, the less, the better.
Yeah.
After that, once your child is 2 years of age, keep the refined sugar for the birthday parties they go to. School में कोई treat मिल रहा है, but don't make it a regular fare. Like for me, I don't get any chocolates at home. Even if I get, it's in the secret cupboard. It's just for me. बट या जितना उनको स्कूल में मिल रहा है, फ्रेंड्स के घर मिल रहा है, प्ले डेट पे मिल रहा है, उतना काफ़ी है. उसके बियॉन्ड वी डोंट ट्राई टू कीप इट एट होम. ठीक है, जब पूजा में जा रहे हैं, थोड़ा हलवा प्रसाद मिल रहा है, eat it, no problem, because a little bit of sugar is not going to do any damage. Rather, it's going to have positive associations with festivals also to the child. So yeah, that's about it.
Now, there's a lot of debate online about jaggery versus sugar, right? There's this thing ki jaggery bhi to sugar hi hai, matlab what's the difference? So can you break that down? Is there any difference between sugar and jaggery?
So in terms of calorie, both are the same. One is refined. Jaggery is also processed, but not at a great level. Yeah, it's a healthier option. So you can't nullify sugar at all from your child's diet, right? मतलब ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि हम कुछ भी ना खिलाएं मीठा and rely only on fruits for sweetness. So if you compare the two, I would say go with jaggery. Like I said, date powder is a great option to go with because it's made from date. To sweeten your food, you can. This is definitely a healthier option, but like I said, you can't add it in all your meals. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम रोज गुड़ डाले जा रहे हैं, हर रोज किसी ना किसी चीज में डाले जा रहे हैं. But yeah, a little bit of jaggery here and there will not harm the child and is definitely a better source than compared to a refined sugar.
Makes sense. Now let's segue a little and talk about protein. Protein is a very big contention point for people because, especially for vegetarians, right, where the sources are limited. So, like you mentioned, right, dal is a good source and legumes are a good source when you're talking about a balanced plate. But just to sort of summarize that, can you give 5 or 6 protein options for vegetarians?
Okay, so first let's keep the dairy side pe, because there are some children who can't tolerate dairy as well. But let's talk about the dairy, which is paneer, dahi, doodh. These are all parts where you can definitely include in your child's diet easily. Like, इसमें कोई problem नहीं हो रही है. But some kids who are not okay with dairy, then let's look at the other options, which is dals, pulses, lentils. These are great sources. Add in your main meals and also try to add them as a snack. You know, like I said, hummus dip. You can also add like chanas for snacking, like, chana chaat or things like that. Then we can talk about nuts and seeds. Like, I in fact used to use a lot of nut powder till Neil was about 3-ish because it's a great source of protein. It's chotu size, but it's action packed. For children who can't have dairy, again, they can go for tofu. It's also a great source. You can add it in your chila. You can make sabzi out of it. You can knead it in the dough. You can also use the whey from, if you're making paneer at home, for making sabzis, adding it in your atta. These are the primary sources of vegetarian protein.
And what about these protein powders and gummies that are coming in the market, right? There's a lot of controversial opinions about these. So what is your take on protein powders for kids?
So see, I did introduce a lot of haldi wala doodh to flavor the milk. Sometimes I added jaggery also so that Neil could have the milk. But if your child is not having milk at all, and if they're not intolerant to it, and you want to give it once a while, I'm not saying to force or anything, but if you want to give once a while, it's not a bad option at all. Like, look at it like we giving something which is totally made from refined sugar, totally which has a lot of preservative. Choose healthier options. There are many brands who are into clean nutrition these days. So look for ingredients which have no refined sugar. It has genuine protein content, and if you add it to your child's diet, it's not a problem.
And what about gummies? Gummies, maybe there's a lot of things about, like, it it might have added colors, and there's also some dental issues that can come with gummies, right?
Yeah, so the common problem with gummies is because it has a very sticky texture, there are chances that your child might have caries or might have like cavities and stuff because the sticky part sticks to the child's teeth. So I am in for gummies. In fact, I have given Neil multivitamin gummies. In fact, I give him every few months.
Okay.
So whenever he's recovering from a fever or a viral, the doctor themselves recommend like a multivitamin syrup, and they ask, are you giving any multivitamin to your children? So I give them, but I give it a pause as well. Like, you know,
Okay.
ek hi baar mein nahi dete. And whenever he's having one, obviously he eats one, then he'll go brush his teeth, wash his mouth, drink water. And I still feel it's better than having those toffees, you know.
Yeah.
For them, the packaging and all of that looks like a toffee.
Yeah.
In my opinion. My son is not into any kind of toffees at all. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't get any chocolates for him at home. Jo usko school mein wagera milta hai, that is something which is not in my control. So I feel this is still a healthier way to kind of give them that sweet treat with which also has multivitamin. Yeah, you can just wash their mouth clearly.
Yeah,
That happens with any dessert.
Any
no?
dessert, true.
So
true.
even if they're having cake in their friend's birthday party, they're going to come back home, wash their mouth and go to sleep, brush their teeth. So I'm okay with gummies if the child needs one. And I feel it's a great alternative to have, especially when they are recovering from illness. They need that extra vitamin and mineral, which cannot come from diet.
Yeah, yeah. And I think kids don't like syrups also, na? Sometimes
Yeah,
they don't want to
he's
like...
totally refused having syrups because it feels like dawai.
Dawai.
The logic is that they correlate the syrup to like those syrups that they have when they have like a cold and cough, and you know. So that's the correlation. That's why he avoids. But when it comes in a gummy form, he's happy to have it because it looks like a candy to him. And it's all obviously it's made in a way also that the packaging and also the look and feel of the gummy is also like a candy.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you take the precaution, I am totally in for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, talking about milk, you mentioned milk for your child, right? Milk nahi peena is a very common problem with kids, right? Especially when they're just introduced to it at 1 year of age, because it tastes very different than what they're used to, like breast milk or formula. So, firstly, how important is milk for a child?
So, I grew up... as a child, I used to throw milk. Yeah. So, because my mom used to force me to have it, we had a balcony. She would nicely be packing my tiffin and I would go and throw that milk away. One day she caught me and that was the day she's like, I'm not going to give you any milk. You're wasting so much food. So that story and this story, I realized that if a child doesn't like milk, it's totally fine. There are other various substitute of it, like, you know, sesame seed, ragis, peanuts, nuts. There are so many options to give instead of forcing the child to have milk. And once a while, if you want to make like a healthier version of hot chocolate during winters or something, that's fine. I mean, but if your child is not having milk, please do not force them to have it because there are multiple options available, and milk is not like a superfood that ye pee lega to bas ek meal complete ho gayi. Nahi, it's not the truth. If your child is having also, please don't give like 4 cups of milk a day ke ek bada glass bhar ke doodh de diya. No, you have to cap it to 2 smaller cups in a day only. So yeah, it is something which a lot of parents have seen as a child, that milk to peena hi padega. But now the days have gone by that, you know, that we have multiple options. We have various sources of calcium and protein, like I had mentioned. You can use most of them, but do not force. Like I have always told that please don't force feed your child or distract feed your child. It's a total no-no for me. So it applies to milk as well.
So, just to summarize it for parents, can you give some alternates to milk if a child is completely rejecting milk?
Okay.
What are some other alternates that parents can give to substitute that nutrition?
Okay. Yeah, so if your child is into dairy but doesn't like milk in particular, then go for paneer. You can go for curd. You can also flavor the curds by adding some food puree and making it like a dessert popsicle. All the byproducts of milk,
Yeah.
they can easily have it.
Yeah.
That can be a great snacking option and complementing with the meals as well. Then there is ingredients like ragi, sesame seeds, which you can incorporate in their roti or chilas or parathas. This is also great for calcium. So, so what do we need from milk? The calcium part and the protein part and some good fats. Try to replace all of these with healthier alternatives or other alternatives. You will be able to kind of justify the nutrition from milk.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think वो एक mindset ऐसा है ना.
Mindset है.
Even for me, so Kian was intolerant to milk till he was 2.
Okay.
Only after 2 now he's able to have milk regularly. उससे पहले he used to get severely constipated when I gave him milk or any dairy for that matter. It was such a big deal at my home that oh God ये दूध नहीं पिएगा तो कैसे चलेगा? I'm from North.
Yeah, so I get where you're coming
तो
from.
कैसे चलेगा? It was like oh, and because like we're vegetarians also.
Yeah.
So again because vegetarians भी हैं, especially at my in-laws and my parents' place, we eat here and there, but not regularly.
Correct.
So it's like कैसे चलेगा, nutrition कैसा पूरा होगा, दूध भी नहीं पी रहा, and I'm like मैं कैसे दे दूँ दूध, he's it
will just create more
problems.
problems for the child.
And now this is a child who's not able to digest milk. Now again there are children who are able to digest it,
correct, but they don't like the taste
of it. Correct. And that's where I think the forcing comes, because they're like कि problem क्या है, पी लो, मतलब
I know,
and
it's
then,
a mindset like you said. It's a mindset, but with a little bit of education, with a little bit of knowledge, I think there are multiple sources available, and one should go for that, versus creating problems for the child. And also I think the mothers also, they बेचारे मुझे उनके लिए ज़्यादा बुरा लगता है, because they are constantly thinking ये नहीं कर रहा है, ये बोल रही है, वो ऐसा नहीं खा रहा है. So it's a lot of struggle. So make your life easier.
No, it's very difficult. Like I'm just remembering this mom once DM'd me. Like, I had shared this story about Kian's constipation on my page. So this mom DM'd me that her child has the same problem, but there's so much force from the elders in the family to give milk that she's still giving milk.
Oh.
And the child is constipated. And I'm like,
I feel so bad.
How? I mean, I felt bad for the child and the mother.
Because she's aware.
She's aware.
Like I said, educate yourself.
Yeah.
She's educated, but it's just the pressure of the family.
It was just really heartbreaking. I told her, just talk to them, because you're literally ruining the gut of the child even more by forcing something that is not going well for them. But okay, I hope that such conversations are able to
maybe
help.
Conversations like this is something that they probably show it to their family members and kind of feel that okay, जो बोल रहे सही तो बोल रहे कि क्यों बेचारे को torture कर रहे हो, like बच्चे को, the child is going under so much pressure.
True.
So
So talking about not force feeding and not distracting feeding with anything, are there some rituals that parents can follow with their children to develop that healthy relationship with food from the start?
So I'll have to go back to the time when Neil was 6 months old. It was proper COVID. We used to wash all the vegetables, dry them, and then put it back to fridge. So Neil would kind of sit around. He would scoop a little here and there, take like a tomato and try it. And I would not stop him because I realized this is the time that he's bonding with vegetables. Let him check how it feels, let him look around, let him squeeze it, enjoy how it is. And anyways, हमारे पास उतने toys भी नहीं थे because we were in lockdown. So this, and then I started reading more about it, that how does it positively impact the child. To take this level up, I later on when things started opening, I would make him part of my meal prep. Like whenever I would chop, I would do it in front of him so that he could see. Later on when we started going to the supermarket, we would take him along. He would literally pick up few vegetables. I still remember वो उसको एक broccoli भी इतनी heavy लगती थी because he was really a tiny baby. So ऐसे उठा के अंदर डाल देता था. But all of those helped him love vegetables more, fruits more, and he would literally broccoli and karela are his favorite vegetables, and I'm not kidding, and my Instagram family knows it.
Yeah.
Then talking about food, discussing कि कल क्या बनेगा. I have always eaten with him. I'm fortunate enough that my job lets me do that.
Yeah.
So my husband usually doesn't join us for the meals because he's in office. But I make sure at least 2 meals are with him without any television. In fact, I also don't watch any television or phone during that time because he's seeing what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And now, especially now that he's 6, he knows totally what is mama
Yeah,
doing. Like if
yeah.
I'm on the phone, he's going to question me.
Yeah.
He's going to rather, like, you know, double counter me that आप कैसे कर रहे हो? मैं तो आप मुझे नहीं करने दे रहे हो. But he's totally into food now. He understands कि मम्मा इतने दिन से broccoli नहीं बनी है. Can you make it? So I explain him this is not the season. अभी broccoli में bugs होते हैं and all of that. So having these conversations, these little when you're going for grocery shopping, पुराने दिन अच्छे थे. Like you know, mamas लेके जाती थी. I used to find it so irritating going. But then now I realize that today I'm eating everything because
of
I think
that.
my mom took me to these vegetable markets. We discuss about nutrition also at home. Like we discuss why he ate an ice cream today. It's a treat and it's totally fine. No guilt attached to it. But how he needs to eat healthy so that he doesn't catch a cold or he doesn't fall ill or, you know, bad bugs don't attack him.
Yeah.
So we have these conversations at home, which is very meaningful, and I think our parents didn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't know any better. I don't blame them for that.
Yeah.
But these positive conversations, these going out trips to field farm trips, every year I schedule strawberry picking or vegetable picking for him. Every single year I have done that, and it definitely helps because they see all of this and observe a lot from the environment. I eat healthy in front of him. He sees it. He loves salad. I have been eating salads in front of him, and he would be like, "Mama, मुझे भी पहले salad दो, फिर मैं खाना खाऊंगा." You know. So they are watching you all the time. So these are few things which are very doable. I feel. इसके लिए extra effort भी नहीं मानना है हमें. It's basic things. आप जब अगर जेप्टो भी कर रहे हो तो भी आप बोल सकते हो कि चलो यू चूज आज कौन सी सब्जी लेनी है. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग अ बेसिक एग्जांपल that if you want to incorporate you can, and it makes a lot of difference. You don't realize it now and you're doing, you might think that इतने छोटे से बच्चे को मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि क्या सब्जी लेना है, but it makes a difference and you will slowly understand it. When your child gets older you will understand it, how much of a difference it has made.
So, you know, recently, like, Kian is about to turn 3 now, abhi November mein. And till now, I have not really given him any treats or sugary stuff. Matlab, ghar pe what I make, but nothing from the market, nothing packaged. But now, since we've been here at Dadi Nani house since almost 2 months now, obviously these things come up, right? Because I don't have control over what's coming in the house. And with the festive season, there's a lot of like chips, fruities, toffees that are being, you know, given to kids. So he recently went to the mandir and he got a fruity. I was like, okay. This is a new territory. So I was like, okay, you have it. You got it. Like someone gave it to you. It's a prasad or whatever. So you have it. So one day he had it. Now next day again he got a fruity.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, now Kian, we can't have it today. We'll have it next week because you had it yesterday. But then that was like a very difficult conversation to have. And even today it was Kanjak, right? So he, like my mom was giving toffees to everyone who came, and he was like, मुझे भी चाहिए. And I'm like, okay, परसों भी fruity पी थी, अब कल भी fruity का. I've told him next week. Now today is toffee. What's happening? So like it's very difficult to navigate it initially, right? So can you maybe give us some dialogues that we can sort of use with our children to firstly not make it a negative thing, that it shouldn't become a taboo, but also have some control over how much sugar they're having?
So this is a good question and it's very relatable. It happens every now and then at home, especially when your child will start going to school. Chocolates ही मिलती हैं on birthdays. They have special days जब उनको, like the first day he was got he had got like a, I think those choco pie or something, and I was like, oh my God, how did he get this? But then this will happen and you don't have control over it. So I have this, like this notion at home, जो मेरे कंट्रोल में है मैं वो ही लाऊंगी. So in my house, if you open any cabinet, you'll not find these kurkure ka packet, or you will not find all these unhealthy stuff like hide and seek biscuits and stuff like that. But when he is going out, I have no control. Certain times I do draw a boundary and I tell to whoever's house he's going that Neil will not have this. If I see that very often he goes to their house and they are having a lot of junk, I do mark that line and I do tell them very like, you know, in a pleasing way that please, he's not used to eating so much, so let's not give him. Or else I have another strategy, which is I feed him a little bit from home so that अगर उधर जाके खा भी लेता है तो भी the quantity is less. And the conversations around healthy food कि ये खाने से क्या problem हो सकती है, like for example teeth decay, teeth problem, tummy pain, like basic language में अगर बच्चे को समझाया जाए कि ये हो सकता है. There are nowadays many books available also that what is the repercussion of eating like junk all the time. Having those discussion, हमें लगता है इनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, but then when they are actually eating it ना, they are mentally thinking about it, because literally I have seen Neil coming back from school and saying, Mama, today I had only half pastry. I wasted the half pastry because I felt that my tummy will pain. So वो धीरे धीरे observe होता है. So if you tell them, talk to them about not putting like a restriction that ये तो बिल्कुल नहीं खाना है, ये तो तुम खाओगे तो फिर तुम देख लेना मैं क्या करूँगी तुम्हारे, like those things don't work. I feel those will never work. Rather having a discussion that इसको करने से क्या हो सकता है and healthy खाने से क्या होगा. So, and that rule that I had mentioned earlier, that whenever we have something junk, we have to balance it out and we need to eat two things healthy.
Okay.
So that's my rule at home. So simple things like that, you can create your own rules at home, wherein you say that, okay, आज अगर आपने fruity pea, for example, then you have to have like 2 superpower vegetable. एक तो आपका वो tummy balance हो जाएगा, वरना आपका tummy pain करेगा. Things like that, and slowly and gradually they do understand. Because even we as adults indulge in you know, pastries, ice creams, chocolates. But I think as adults now, at least I can speak for myself, that I've understood that I can't have a whole bar of chocolate at one go. Like I like chocolates, maybe I'll have a piece of dark chocolate after my dinner, but then I'll wash my teeth and go off to sleep. Like, you know, but for them to come to that level, it'll take some time, but that happens at home. And literally, I'm not joking, like I'm saying there's a difference between your child and mine. Yours is 3 minus 6. You will see that transition. I'm not kidding. It's not something I'm just saying in the air to make you feel better. No. They do understand, and you will be surprised at things that they'll come and tell you that, Mama, today I told her, my friend also don't have this. फिर ना आपको tummy बहुत pain करेगा, and your body will have no energy left. You will have only bad energy left. So these conversations is exactly, he is replicating what I am telling him. And it's going into his subconscious mind.
So it's continuous conversation.
Yeah, it's continuous
It
conversation.
can't happen कि आज मना किया तो अब नहीं खाएंगे.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा. It's an ongoing process.
Because guilty भी लगता है मना करने में. You know, it's like अरे बच्चा है, he's asking. अब वो जब second time fruity लाया था, he didn't have it because I told him कि हमने कल ही पिया है, so we'll have it next week.
See, that's progress.
He was like, okay, but then after every half an hour, he would go look at that and be like, हम वो कब पियेंगे? I'm like, अरे यार, shit. Similarly, आज भी वो टॉफी मिला था. I told him ठीक है हम कल खाएंगे.
No, so drawing that line, like I said, is important. Marking that line that no, this is not happening. Because ultimately you have to give that guideline to the child. Otherwise they will not understand it. And you tell them we'll have it. I'm not saying no. We'll have it after a few days. Have patience. We'll have it. So it works out. Don't, like I'm saying, it's a 3-year experienced mom saying that no, it works out, and it works out really well. It's just that you have to be a little patient and consistent.
That's true. Thank you for that. Okay. Now, I think we're mostly done with whatever we had to talk about. We'll do a quick rapid fire myth-busting session. Okay. Mostly, I think we've covered these things, but just to sort of quickly summarize it. So, we'll start.
Yeah.
True or false?
Okay.
Sugar is completely evil and must be avoided at all costs.
False.
Hiding vegetables is the best way to get kids to eat greens.
No.
Kids need health drinks or protein powders every day for growth.
No.
Now, not true and false, just general questions.
Okay.
What is one myth about child nutrition that you wish every Indian parent would leave behind?
That chubby equals to healthy. Oh God. I wish the society was not obsessed with, I say this very to all my friends also. The society is obsessed with skinny moms, that they want the moms to lose the fat very quickly the moment you deliver. But the bacha should look very chubby.
Yeah.
I'm like, chubby is not equal to healthy. It can or it cannot. But
it's not the only way.
yeah, I mean.
One ancient food wisdom that you swear by as a nutritionist.
Eat healthy, eat local, eat what's in season.
And what's your favorite quick snack for toddlers?
I just have to say one. Can I say 2, 3?
You can say 2, 3.
So I like makhanas a lot. Like for adults also and for children, you can make multiple variations of it. Peanuts, if your child is old enough, that is. A lot of these vegetables which you can make chips format, like sweet potato chips. It needs a little bit of cooking, but you can use an air fryer for doing that. I do a lot of healthy cookies, some home mixes also, like, with murmura. With nowadays, a lot of ragi, jowar murmura is available in the market. You can just temper them, season them well, and it acts as a perfect snack.
Awesome. Great. So this was a great rapid fire. Thank you for answering those. Just to sort of close this, is there any advice that you would like to give to a mom who's watching this right now and is very overwhelmed about their child's eating habits?
Okay, so my job mainly is on Instagram, and I share a lot of healthy recipes. I share about my child's journey. But I would like to tell this to any viewer who's watching this. Please do not get overwhelmed with what a creator or a content creator is showing you all. Because you don't know what scenarios they are in. Are they in a nuclear family? Do they have support? Do they have help? This is their job to kind of show you certain parts of their life. Don't get triggered by what they are doing. What I would only advise you is get the knowledge, get some information, upgrade yourself. Don't just blindly follow what somebody is saying, and do what feels best to you.
Yeah.
And what feels best to you is very subjective. What might be best for you might be worst for me, or vice versa, right? So just go with your gut. Have the information right, have the right kind of information, and never get overwhelmed. Be confident. I think half the problem उसी में solve हो जाता है. अगर आप confident हो अपने आप जो कर रहे हो आपको लग रहा है सही कर रहे हो, just go ahead, do it. Nobody is perfect. It's not a competition. We are not wearing any capes. We are not getting any awards here. So all moms are trying to do their best, and I personally feel that no mother would want bad for their children. They would definitely want to do the best. So आप अपने हिसाब से आपको जो सही लग रहा है आप वो करिए, but with the right guidance and the right information.
Awesome. So firstly, Sonali, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure being with you and doing this podcast.
It was a wonderful conversation, and I really hope that it reaches the parents it's meant to reach, and it helps someone who's listening to this. So I like to end each episode with this segment that I call the mom pause.
Oh, nice.
Where we're basically just taking a pause for 2 minutes. And I believe that if someone has listened to us for this long, they can just take out 2 more minutes for themselves. And just the idea is to sort of sit and calm down, take a positive thought, and just sit with it for 2 minutes. So I'll share a thought, I'll play some music, and we'll just sit in silence for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And it's not just for us. Anyone who's listening or anyone who's watching can join us too.
Lovely.
So the affirmation is, eating healthy is an act of self-love. It sort of sums up our
the whole conversation.
I'll play some music, we'll close our eyes and join in.